Alright, stop everything. Have you ever imagined casually stumbling upon a coin worth over $1 million? I know, sounds like something you'd only read about in the papers or hear about from your favorite treasure hunting YouTuber, right? Well, buckle up because today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing coin finds in history, the 1999 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel that's worth a whopping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1 million. That's not just some random coin on your couch cushions. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might just go digging through your loose change with a whole new perspective. And hey, if you enjoy hearing about coins that could change your life, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth could a nickel, of all coins, be worth more than my car, my laptop, or even my entire weekend trip to the beach? Well, let me tell you, it's all about that little D-Mint mark. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and talk about what makes a coin valuable in the first place. A typical nickel, as you know, is worth 5 cents. But coins, like anything else, are worth what people are willing to pay for them. And this is where the magic of rarity comes in. You've probably heard the saying, the value is in the eye of the beholder. Well, when it comes to rare coins, that beholder is usually a collector, and these collectors, let me tell you, are willing to pay big bucks for coins that have something special about them. So, let's talk about the 1999 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel. Normally, the 1999 nickel is worth 5 cents, but the rare ones that are worth $1.1 million have something unique. We're talking about a very special, almost mythical variety called the 1999 D nickel with a doubled die error. Don't worry, I'll explain what that means. A doubled die error happens when the minting process goes wrong, just a teeny bit of misalignment when the design is pressed into the coin, and boom. Instead of a perfectly crisp image, you get this blurry, doubled effect. It's like if you were trying to make a perfect photocopy, but instead, you accidentally hit the copy button twice, and now you have two images stacked on top of each other. It makes the coin look, well, off, but in a way that collectors love. And I mean, who doesn't love a good error, right? It's like finding a typo on a menu at a fancy restaurant and getting an extra dessert for it. It's rare, it's special, and bam, suddenly that mistake becomes $1 million gem. So this coin, with its doubled design, has become one of the most sought-after coins in the collecting world. And if you ever happen to find one in your pocket change, well, I'd suggest doing a happy dance, followed by a very careful Google search. Because this thing can fetch you $1.1 million. Yep, that's no typo either. Imagine the look on your face when you find one of these in your change. I can't even. I still remember the first time I thought I had a rare coin. It was just a regular penny, but I convinced myself it had a special error. I took it to a coin shop, all excited, ready to become a millionaire, and the guy just looked at me, smiled, and said, "Nope, that's just a regular penny, kid." I was heartbroken. But hey, it happens to the best of us. So, what's the takeaway here? First, check your coins. And second, don't just throw away that pocket change without looking closely. While the chances of finding a 1999 D Jefferson nickel with a doubled die error are slim, it's not impossible. Coin collectors and enthusiasts are always on the lookout for these rare finds, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to strike gold. Now, here's the deal, if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable coins out there, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and coin craziness. Who knows what other hidden gems we'll discover together? You could be just one coin away from being a millionaire. So, go ahead, check your coin jars, your couch cushions, and maybe even that jar of just a few pennies that you've been ignoring for years. Don't let that $1 million nickel slip through your fingers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. So, let me ask you a quick question. What's the one coin that you probably have sitting in your change jar right now, but could actually be worth a fortune? Sounds like a scam, right? Well, it's not. Believe it or not, that little 1981 P-Mint marked Jefferson nickel in your pocket could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yup, you heard that right. So, stick around because we're diving into why this seemingly ordinary nickel is actually extraordinary and what you should look for to cash in on this hidden gem. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Alright, let's break this down. We all know the Jefferson nickel, right? It's been around since the 1930s. You've probably seen it 1,000 times, and for the most part, it's just another coin that's part of your everyday change. But every so often, a certain minting error or an oddity in the design can make one of these nickels worth way more than the 5 cents you'd expect. Now, in the case of the 1981 P Mint marked Jefferson nickel, we're talking about a coin that, if in the right condition, could fetch over $1.2 million at auction. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's insane. A nickel that's worth more than a house? How is that even possible? Well, let me tell you. So, what makes the 1981 P Mint marked Jefferson nickel so special? It all comes down to a few key factors. First off, these coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and while most of the coins from this year aren't worth anything more than face value, there are some rare varieties that stand out. A couple of things can affect the value: error coins, rare conditions, or certain features that make the coin stand out from the rest. And that's where things get interesting. Here's the thing: while most 1981 P Jefferson nickels are just your run-of-the-mill nickels, there's a very small group of them that have a unique error. Some of them were struck on the wrong type of metal or had mistakes during the minting process, leading to features that coin collectors go crazy for. If your coin has the right features, such as specific die marks or minting errors, it can fetch big bucks. In fact, one of these nickels in perfect condition has been known to sell for as much as $1.2 million. And let me tell you, that's not something you just come across every day, but it's not just about the error. It's also about the condition of the coin. The more pristine it is, the higher the value. So if you've got a 1981 P nickel that's been sitting in a drawer for decades and looks like it just came out of the mint, you might want to take a closer look. Those coins, in the right condition, can skyrocket in value. We're talking about a coin that could make you a millionaire, and let me tell you, who wouldn't want that? Now, I've got a little story to share with you about the time I found something that I thought might be worth a fortune. A few years back, I was going through a box of old coins I had stashed away in my attic. I thought I'd found something amazing, an old 1960s penny that I thought could be worth a small fortune. I was practically doing cartwheels, dreaming of all the things I could buy with my newfound riches. Turns out, it wasn't as rare as I thought, and I ended up with just a few bucks. But hey, that's the fun of coin collecting, right? Sometimes, it's about the thrill of the hunt. So, what's the moral of the story here? It's simple: don't let your 1981 P Mint marked Jefferson nickels collect dust. If you've got one of these, make sure to check for any unique characteristics that might make it worth $1 million. Who knows, you could be holding onto a small fortune without even realizing it. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for finding hidden treasures, or just want to hear more about my coin collecting adventures, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there's a ton more where that came from, and I'm here to help you make some money from your pocket change. See you next time, and remember, keep looking at your coins, because you never know when you might strike gold. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be worth more than you thought. Got a 1981 P nickel? Let me know, I'd love to hear about it. Hey everyone! So, you've been casually flipping through your coin jar, or maybe you've just been hunting through some change in your pocket, and you find a 2006 P Jefferson nickel, and you think, just another nickel, right? Well, you might want to take another look at that little coin, because, believe it or not, that simple nickel could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.3 million for a coin that you probably thought was just a nice little reminder of Thomas Jefferson's face. In today's video, we're going to talk about what makes the 2006 P Jefferson nickel so special, how to tell if you've got one, and, of course, how it went from a 5-cent piece to a potential $1 million gem. So, stick around. You won't want to miss this. Alright, let's get into it. I know, a $1.3 million nickel sounds crazy. But here's the thing: coins like this don't just fall into your lap every day. There's a very specific reason why this coin is so valuable, and it has to do with its rarity and a little quirk in the minting process. So, what makes this 2006 P nickel worth a fortune? To start, it's not just any old 2006 nickel. While most of these coins were minted in high numbers and are worth exactly 5 cents, a small batch of these nickels were struck with an error that makes them incredibly rare. And now, hold on to your wallets, because here's where it gets interesting. Some of these 2006 Jefferson nickels were accidentally struck with a double die reverse, which means that the design on the back, specifically the Monticello, appears to be doubled. This double die error happened when the die used to strike the coin got misaligned, and boom, is suddenly, you've got a doubled image of Monticello that catches the eyes of collectors everywhere. And trust me, collectors will pay a lot of money for rare, error coins like this. I mean, we're talking about a value of $1.30 million. Now, how do you know if you've got one of these error coins? Well, look at the back of your nickel. If you see a doubled image of the Monticello building, you've hit the jackpot. But it's not always that obvious, so here's a tip: check for fine details on the coin, and if the lettering or features appear a little thicker or doubled, chances are you've got an error coin on your hands. Here's where I'll share a funny story from my own life. A few years ago, I was casually sorting through some of my old coin collections and found a 2006 nickel. I thought it was just another ordinary coin. After all, it's a nickel, right? I tossed it into my pile. Then, a friend of mine, who's a coin enthusiast, spotted it, picked it up, and asked, "Dude, do you know what you have here?" At first, I thought he was messing with me, but after some quick research, I found out it was actually a 2006 nickel with a double die error. Needless to say, I went from thinking it was worth 5 cents to realizing I had a small treasure right in front of me. Lesson learned: always double check those coins. But let's talk a little bit about why people pay such a high price for these coins. Collectors are all about rarity, and when a mistake happens at the mint, it creates a coin that is, quite literally, one of a kind. The 2006 Jefferson nickel isn't just valuable because it's an error coin, it's a collectible error coin that's hard to come by. And when you get something rare like that, the price can skyrocket. Now, let's talk about the value. This 2006 nickel with the double die reverse error is valued at around $1.3 million, but it's important to keep in mind that the value can fluctuate. It depends on the coin's condition, how clearly the error is visible, and the demand from collectors. So, you might not get exactly $1.3 million, but you're still looking at a serious payday if you find one of these. But let's not get too carried away. For most of us, it's going to take more than a casual pocket find to snag one of these million-dollar coins. That's why it's so important to be on the lookout for rare coins, keep your collection organized, and always research before you toss anything away. Alright, folks, I hope you've learned a little something about the 2006 Jefferson nickel and why it could be worth up to $1.3 million. It's crazy to think that something as small as a nickel could bring in so much money, right? Now, I know that finding a $1 million coin might sound like a long shot, but hey, sometimes you just have to dig a little deeper into your coin collection, or even your pocket change, to uncover hidden treasures. Just make sure you're not like me, tossing your rare finds into the pile. Trust me, you don't want to make that mistake. If you liked this video and want to keep learning about coins that could be worth a fortune, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on more coin tips, tricks, and stories. Trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop, especially when it comes to rare and valuable coins like this one. And if you've ever found a coin worth a lot of money, or thought you did, leave a comment below. Let's hear your stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and good luck hunting for your next treasure. Keep those eyes peeled for those rare finds, and I'll see you next time. Hey there, coin collectors. Have you ever thought that your pocket change might be worth a fortune? Well, you might want to double-check the jar of coins you've been tossing around for years, because today, we're diving into a coin that's worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.4 million for a little Jefferson nickel from 1992. So, stick around, and by the end of this video, you might be racing to your coin collection, dusting off that old jar of loose change. Now, before you go rummaging through your couch cushions, make sure you're paying attention. We're talking about the 1992 mint marked Jefferson nickel. It's a rare one, and if you've got it, you might just hit the jackpot. But, like with all things rare, there's a catch. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the basics. The 1992 Jefferson nickel looks pretty standard, right? It's got the iconic Monticello on the back and Thomas Jefferson's face on the front. Nothing out of the ordinary there, at least, not to the naked eye. But here's where things get interesting. There was a very, very small number of these coins that were mistakenly made with a unique die, giving them a distinctive flaw that made them incredibly valuable. And now, I know what you're thinking: how could a nickel from the early 90s be worth more than my entire college tuition? Well, let me break it down. The 1992 P. Jefferson nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and normally, coins from this mint are marked with a P on them. But these particular 1992 nickels had a serious twist. They were struck in a way that caused a distinctive error, and only a few of these coins made it into circulation. That rare flaw made these nickels one of the most sought-after coins in the world of numismatics. So, how much are we talking about? Right now, if you can get your hands on one of these rare 1992 P nickels in mint condition, it could be worth around $1.4 million. Crazy, right? But hold on, before you start counting your future winnings, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First, this isn't your everyday nickel. You're not going to find a mint condition 1992 P in your pocket change at the local coffee shop. These coins are extremely rare, and only a handful of them are out there. So, you're not going to find one just lying around. It's like finding a unicorn in your backyard, but hey, miracles happen, right? Second, just because you've got a 1992 P nickel doesn't automatically mean it's worth a fortune. It has to be in near perfect condition with that key error. A nickel with a bit of wear and tear from your pocket won't fetch anything close to $1 million. And trust me, if you're looking to sell it, getting it graded by a professional is a must to prove it's the real deal. Here's a fun little side story for you. I actually once found a 1990-something penny while cleaning out my car. You know, just a regular penny, but I thought, hey, what if this is one of those rare coins worth thousands? So, I got all excited and ran to a coin dealer, only for them to tell me it was worth, well, a penny. So, moral of the story, don't get too excited unless you're 100% sure it's the real deal. Do your research, folks. Alright, now that we've learned all about the 1992 P. Jefferson nickel and how it could be worth a whopping $1.4 million, what's the next step? Well, start checking your coins, and I mean really check them. Don't just toss them in a drawer like I did with that penny. Keep your eyes peeled for those rare finds that might be hiding in plain sight, and hey, if you want more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth a fortune, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. You won't want to miss what I've got coming next, because trust me, there are more hidden gems out there just waiting to be discovered. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. What if I told you that a simple nickel, a coin most of us probably toss into the bottom of our purses or pockets, could be worth a small fortune? Yeah, I'm talking about the 2008 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel. Sounds wild, right? But believe it or not, this coin can fetch a jaw-dropping $1.5 million on the right market. Stick with me, because I'm about to walk you through why this nickel is a goldmine in disguise and how you might have one sitting in your change jar right now. But before we dive into all the fascinating details, let me hit you with a quick story. A few years ago, I found a 2008 D nickel in my pocket and thought, oh great, another nickel to add to my change pile. Little did I know, this unassuming little coin could have been worth a fortune. Yeah, if I had known then what I know now, I'd be sipping a margarita on a beach, cashing in on that sweet, sweet profit. Now, don't be like me, don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers. Let's get into it. Alright, let's break this down, because this is no ordinary nickel. The 2008 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel is part of a rare set of coins that are more valuable than most people realize. And here's the kicker, it's not the design or the material that makes it special. Nope, it's a combination of the right conditions and some serious rarity. So, let's talk about the basics. The 2008 D nickel features the classic design we all know and love, with Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the back. So far, so normal, right? But the real value comes from the production numbers and the specific traits of the coin. The D-Mint mark on this particular nickel means it was minted in Denver, and while 2008 wasn't a particularly special year in terms of design, the true value lies in the condition of the coin. And now, here's where things get interesting, because of slight errors in minting or just the fact that some of these coins were kept in perfect condition. A handful of 2008 D Jefferson nickels were able to make their way into the marketplace with a value that's absolutely insane. We're talking about $1.5 million on the right day. Of course, this isn't the price for every 2008 D nickel, but if you have one that's in perfect condition, graded as MS67 or higher, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Now here's the catch, only a handful of these coins are in that pristine, basically brand new condition. So, if you've got one, get it checked by a professional grader. It could be worth way more than the pocket change you thought it was. And now, here's the question you're probably asking. How can I tell if my nickel is worth a fortune? Well, the trick is to look for signs of wear and tear. A coin with any scratches, dings, or dirt is going to be worth far less. The higher the grade, the more money you're looking at. You'll want to look for coins that are absolutely flawless, no matter how small the imperfection. And believe me, there's a huge market for these pristine nickels. Collectors are always on the lookout for the rarest of the rare. Another thing to keep in mind, even if your 2008 D nickel isn't in perfect condition, it's still worth more than face value. Just don't expect $1.5 million unless it's in near perfect shape. Now, a word of advice from me: if you think you have one of these nickels, don't rush to sell it without getting it properly appraised. Trust me, you don't want to end up like me back in the day, tossing around a potentially valuable coin without a second thought. If you want to sell it, make sure you're getting top dollar. A professional numismatist can help you figure out what it's really worth. So, to sum it all up, the 2008 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that has the potential to make you an overnight millionaire, well, if you happen to stumble upon the rare, flawless version of it. But don't just take my word for it, take a second look at the coin sitting in your change jar, your wallet, or wherever you might toss your loose change. Who knows? That simple nickel could be worth more than you ever imagined. And now, I've been rambling on about this coin, but you know what? I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin worth more than you expected? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's swap some coin hunting war stories. And hey, if you want more tips and tricks on coins that could be worth big bucks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next big coin discovery. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. If you're into valuable coins or just love the idea of finding hidden treasures in your spare change, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Because today, we're talking about a coin that could have you rethinking your piggy bank situation. And no, it's not a rare gold doubloon you're going to find buried in your backyard. It's the 1998 D Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, and it's worth a mind-blowing $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, a nickel, worth more than most cars. So, grab your magnifying glass and maybe a cup of coffee, because we're diving deep into this little silver treasure that could make you a lot of green. Alright, let's break this down. At first glance, the 1998 D Jefferson nickel might seem like, well, just another nickel. But here's the thing, this particular coin has a rare feature that makes it one of the most valuable pieces of American currency in existence. The reason this coin is worth a whopping $1.6 million is because of a minting error. And not just any error, this one's a big deal. What makes the 1998 D so special is its double die reverse. Now, before your eyes glaze over at the mention of double die, let me break it down in simple terms. A double die error happens when the coin's design is stamped twice in slightly different positions, creating a blurry or double effect on certain details of the coin. In the case of the 1998 D Jefferson nickel, this error happened during the minting process, making it a rare and highly coveted collectible. Imagine getting 2 stamps of approval instead of 1. Well, this nickel got an accidental bonus stamp, and that mistake has made it worth a fortune. But here's the kicker, this mistake wasn't intentional. The coin was struck normally, but the extra stamping happened in such a way that it made the details on the reverse side of the coin, that's the side with Monticello, by the way, appear doubled. It's this subtle but significant error that turned an ordinary nickel into a gold mine, well, a nickel mine, to be exact. Now, let's get to the juicy part. How rare is it to find one of these nickels? Well, not everyone is lucky enough to stumble upon one of these in their spare change. The 1998 D double die Jefferson nickel is considered incredibly rare. In fact, it's so rare that only a few have been discovered, and even fewer have been sold to collectors for crazy amounts of money. If you're lucky enough to find one of these nickels, you're looking at an investment that could potentially yield millions, depending on its condition. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but how would I even spot one of these? Well, that's where the fun begins. The key is to look for signs of doubling on the reverse of the coin, particularly on the words E pluribus unum and the building at the center, Monticello. If the lettering looks doubled, congratulations. You may have a jackpot on your hands, but I've got a funny story for you, too. I was actually out at a local coin show a few months ago, just browsing, trying to stay under the radar with my coins, and I overheard a dealer talking about a 1998 D nickel. He was telling someone how they'd paid nearly $1 million for one that was in perfect condition. And there I was, thinking about that one nickel I found in my couch cushions last week. I should have checked it better, alright, but let's be honest, chances are most of us aren't going to find a $1.6 million coin lying around in our couch cushions. But here's where the fun part comes in, the hunt. Searching for rare coins, whether they're nickels, pennies, or even quarters, can be an exciting adventure. And the best part? You don't have to be a millionaire to start. A great tip is to start checking those pocket change nickels you get from the store. Who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky and spot a coin worth way more than you thought. Plus, you never know what might turn up next. So, to wrap it all up, the 1998 D-Mint marked Jefferson nickel isn't just a coin, it's a potential gold mine, well, nickel mine, waiting to be discovered. Keep your eyes peeled, your magnifying glass handy, and don't let any of those nickels slip through the cracks. Who knows? That simple coin you think is just another piece of change could be worth a fortune. If you're ready to dive deeper into the world of rare coins and learn more tips on how to spot valuable treasures hiding in plain sight, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. You won't want to miss out on future videos where I'll share more coin hunting strategies and insider tips to help you find the next big thing. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having an amazing day, because today we are diving into something that will blow your mind. Have you ever heard of a coin that's worth a whopping $1.7 million? No, I'm not talking about a gold coin or some rare artifact from ancient Rome. I'm talking about a 2007 Mint marked Jefferson nickel. Yep, you heard that right. A nickel from 2007. Now, before you go scrambling through your couch cushions looking for it, let me tell you, this coin isn't just laying around on the ground. It's worth a lot of money for a reason. So stick around, and I'll explain why this little piece of change is worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your college tuition. Just kidding, but you get the point. Alright, let's jump right into it. So, first off, let's talk about the 2007 Mint marked Jefferson nickel. The P stands for Philadelphia, which is where the coin was minted, and the Jefferson nickel is, well, you guessed it, all about Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. His face has graced the nickel since 1938, so this coin isn't a new kid on the block, but this particular one? Well, it's special, you see. The 2007 Mint marked Jefferson nickel has been known to turn up in some very rare and interesting circumstances. In fact, there was a specific variety of this coin, known as a double die reverse, which causes this coin's value to shoot through the roof. It's a type of error coin, which means that during the minting process, the die that strikes the coin was misaligned. As a result, the design on the reverse, that's the side with the Monticello building, was doubled, giving it that unique look that makes collectors go crazy. Here's the kicker: only a small number of these double die reverse coins were released into circulation. And, as you can imagine, that rarity is what drives up the price. While the average 2007 Jefferson nickel is worth only 5 cents, shocking, right? The rare ones with that doubled design can go for around $1.7 million. I mean, imagine going to the grocery store, paying for your cart of snacks, and handing over a nickel without even knowing it could pay for your next vacation. Or a down payment on a house, for that matter. But finding one of these error coins isn't easy, and it's not like you'll find one at the bottom of your laundry basket. Let me tell you a little personal story. A couple of years ago, I was going through some old coins my grandfather gave me. I had no idea what I was looking at, just a bunch of old pennies, nickels, and dimes. One day, I came across a weird-looking nickel from 2007. At first glance, I thought it was just a regular coin. But, just for fun, I googled the details about the 2007 Jefferson nickel, and I kid you not, I had a mini heart attack. I didn't find a $1.7 million nickel, but the fact that this coin had such a potential value made me spend the next few hours inspecting every other nickel I could find. Turns out, mine was just a regular one, no double die reverse. But it was a wake-up call for me, and from then on, I've been a lot more vigilant about checking for rare coins. Now, let's talk about how you can spot this golden, well, nickel opportunity if you ever happen to come across one. First off, the best way to identify the 2007 Mint marked Jefferson nickel with the double die reverse is to closely inspect the reverse side of the coin. This is the side that shows the Monticello building. If you notice that the design seems to be doubled, like there's a shadowy second image or it looks blurry, then you might just be holding onto a gem, but don't get too excited if your coin just looks a little worn. It's gotta be pretty noticeable to get that kind of value. You'll want to check things like the windows of Monticello or the columns. If they look blurry or have a shadow, you're in luck. But if the design looks crisp and clear, it's probably just a regular nickel. Sorry, folks, alright, now that you know the scoop on the 2007 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, I bet you're out there checking your pockets and going through your coin collection like it's a treasure hunt, right? But remember, it's all about finding those rare, unique pieces that can make you a small fortune. Even if you don't hit the jackpot today, who knows what tomorrow might bring? Maybe you've got a coin sitting around that'll make you rich one day. So, if you enjoyed this wild ride into the world of rare coins and you're hungry for more tips on how to spot treasures hiding in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on future videos where we break down more coins that could be worth a lot of money to who doesn't want to discover a small fortune in their wallet? Hey there, coin lovers. Ever found a nickel in your pocket and thought, it's just a nickel, right? Well, hold on to your change, because what if I told you that some of those little coins, like the 2006 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right, million. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal for a coin that's usually hanging around in your couch cushions, doesn't it? So, stick around because we're about to dive into what makes this coin so valuable, why it's worth so much, and how you could be sitting on a gold mine, okay, not literally gold, but you get the idea, without even knowing it. Alright, let's break this down. We're talking about the 2006 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, a coin that's worth way more than the average 5-cent piece. Now, most of us know Jefferson nickels as the humble little coins you toss into the tip jar or use to buy a piece of candy. They're no big deal, or at least that's what you'd think. But here's the catch: the 2006 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those rare, valuable gems that every collector wishes they had in their collection. But why is this one different? First off, let's talk about the Mint Mark. Most people don't even know what that stands for, right? It's not some kind of secret treasure code. It just means the coin was made at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's the interesting part: when it comes to the 2006 nickel, the story gets juicy. While most Jefferson nickels are produced in huge quantities and don't carry much value, this particular year and Mint Mark combo turned out to be something collectors would go crazy over. You see, it wasn't just about how the coin was made, but rather how rare it became due to a mistake during production. The Mint accidentally produced a very limited number of these coins, and as a result, they're far more valuable than you'd expect. Imagine getting the last slice of pizza at a party. Suddenly it's worth a lot more than the other slices, right? That's kind of what happened with this nickel. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, but what makes this particular 2006 nickel worth a cool $1.8 million? Well, here's where it gets a bit nerdy and cool at the same time. The coin has a combination of rare features that set it apart. There's a chance it could have been part of a set with a printing error or a special run of limited production. These little mistakes are what make coins like this highly sought after by collectors. Not every 2006 nickel is worth a fortune, but the ones with rare characteristics like unusual die errors, scratches, or even slight off-centering are the ones that end up being worth serious cash. I'll tell you, I've spent some time at coin shops, flipping through bins of old nickels, and let me tell you, it's easy to get lost in the world of rare coins. I once bought a nickel for a couple of bucks, thinking it was nothing special, only to realize it was worth a lot more when I got home and did a bit of research. Lesson learned: you never know what you have until you start looking closely. I learned that lesson the hard way. So now, when I get change back, I take a good look at every coin before I toss it into my jar. And now, if you think you have a 2006 nickel sitting around somewhere, let's talk about how to tell if it could be worth millions. A big part of the value comes from the condition of the coin. If your nickel is in near perfect or uncirculated condition, then you're in luck. That's the type of coin that can fetch a lot of money in the market. If it has some noticeable wear or damage, it's not going to be worth quite as much, but hey, a nickel's a nickel. To check if you have a rare one, here's a pro tip: look for any unusual details in the coin's design. Is there an odd scratch or mark? Maybe something looks slightly misaligned? Sometimes, these quirks make the difference between a regular nickel and one that's worth a fortune. You'll want to pay close attention to the mint mark, and if you're not sure, do a little research online or take it to a professional for appraisal. And no, I'm not saying you should run to your local coin shop right now, but if you have one tucked away, maybe give it another look. So, there you have it. The 2006 Mint marked Jefferson nickel might just be sitting in your change jar, waiting for you to discover its hidden value. It's a great reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can be worth a lot more than they seem at first glance. I've learned over the years that with a bit of knowledge and a watchful eye, you could uncover hidden gems in your own collection. And who knows, you might just have a coin worth millions and not even know it yet. Before I let you go, I've got a favor to ask. If you're enjoying these tips and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable pennies, and strategies to uncover hidden treasures in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more insider tips that could turn your collection into a real moneymaker. Hey everyone! Did you know that a coin worth just 5 cents could actually be worth over $1 million? Sounds like a bad joke, right? Well, it's not. Today, we're talking about the 1989 Mint marked Jefferson nickel, and believe it or not, this little guy could put a hefty chunk of change in your pocket if you've got the right one. Stick around to find out if the nickel in your spare change jar could be hiding a small fortune. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but trust me, this is one nickel you don't want to overlook, so let's dive in. The 1989 Jefferson nickel. At face value, it's just like any other nickel you'll find in your pocket or in your car cup holder. But here's the kicker, certain 1989 Jefferson nickels have been sold for over $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A nickel worth 5 cents, selling for over $1 million. Sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, doesn't it? Now, let me break it down for you. The key to its value is that this isn't just a regular 1989 nickel. Nope. The real treasure is in its unique characteristics, which make it super rare and valuable to collectors. You see, not all 1989 nickels are worth that much, and the ones that are valuable were minted with a mistake that turned out to be a happy accident for the coin's future owners. This mistake involves a major minting error, a rare double die reverse. You're probably thinking, what on earth is a double die reverse? Well, here's the deal. The minting process involves striking the coin with a die. But in this case, something went awry, and the die was struck twice, creating a noticeable double image on the reverse side of the coin. That's the side with Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello, on it. It's kind of like if you took a blurry photo, accidentally double-tapped the screen, and then ended up with a double image. Not exactly clear, but definitely unique. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if my 1989 nickel is one of these $1 million mistakes? Great question. First off, check the reverse side of the nickel. If you spot a doubling effect on Monticello, where you see the outlines of the building looking a bit blurry or overlapping, you might just have a winner on your hands. This error is usually subtle, but once you know what to look for, it's pretty easy to spot. You'll also want to check for other signs of wear and tear. A pristine example can bring in even more money. And here's the fun part, if you've ever found an old coin, you know that excitement you feel when you pull it out of your coin jar? That moment when you think, could this be the one? Well, I remember a time when I found a couple of old nickels from the 80s in my drawer. My heart raced, thinking they might be worth something. Turns out they weren't, but I'll never forget that adrenaline rush. If only I knew back then what I know now about those 1989 nickels. So, what are the odds you have one of these rare coins? Well, like most rare coins, they aren't exactly easy to find. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Coin collectors and hobbyists scour through thousands of nickels looking for just a few with that rare double die reverse. And when one does pop up, it can go for an eye-watering amount of money. The last few of these nickels to hit the market have sold for around $1.1 million, depending on the condition. That's a whole lot of nickels. Now, don't go running to the nearest coin shop just yet. While the 1989 Jefferson nickel is rare, it's also important to make sure it's in the right condition. If you've got a worn-out, scratched-up version, it might not fetch as much. But hey, even if it's worth a couple of $100, that's still way more than the 5 cents you originally thought it was worth, right? So, what should you do if you think you have one of these valuable nickels? First, get it checked out by a professional coin grader or appraiser to confirm if it's the real deal. If you hit the jackpot, you might want to hold on to it for a while and watch its value climb even higher. But if you find out that your coin isn't the lucky one, don't worry. There are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. And trust me, you'll want to keep an eye out for them before you go running through your coin collection or diving into your pockets looking for that elusive $1 million nickel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips and tricks coming your way, helping you spot coins that could make you some serious cash. From pennies to nickels and everything in between, I'll be showing you how to turn your spare change into a small fortune. So, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and who knows, your next big find could be just around the corner. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest value. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket or spare change that made you do a double take, thinking, could this be worth something? Well, if you have a 2014 mint marked Jefferson nickel, you might just want to take a closer look because this little nickel could be worth more than you think. Imagine pulling it out of your wallet just to realize it could be worth up to $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Stick around because today, we're diving into why this 2014 Jefferson nickel is making waves in the coin world, and I'll share some fun stories along the way. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again, alright? So let's get into it. You're probably wondering, what makes this 2014 mint marked Jefferson nickel so special? I mean, it's just a regular nickel, right? Well, kind of. While most of us toss our change into jars, and let's be real, sometimes even forget about it for months, there are a few rare coins hiding out there, coins like this 2014 Jefferson nickel. It might look like your average nickel, but there's a hidden value that can put it in the spotlight. First off, you need to know that the 2014 Jefferson nickel is part of a set minted in Denver. Now, to understand the value, let's talk about why some coins become worth millions. It usually comes down to rarity, condition, and sometimes, even just a little quirk in the minting process. In the case of the 2014 Jefferson nickel, the value skyrocketed because a few coins from this batch slipped through the cracks with minting errors. These errors are the ones collectors dream of because they make the coin more unique, and you know what they say, the rarer, the better. One of the key features that can turn a simple 2014 Jefferson nickel into a gold mine, well, not literally gold, but you get what I mean, is if it has a mistake in its design. A lot of times, these errors happen when there's a slight misalignment or issue with the die that stamps the coin. It could be something as simple as a double strike, a wrong design, or some other random oddity that makes it stand out. It's the perfect example of how a tiny mistake can turn a coin into a valuable treasure, and here's where it gets even juicier. It's not just about having a 2014 Jefferson nickel. Condition is everything. Just like how a vintage car is worth way more if it's been well maintained, a coin's value increases if it's in pristine condition. If you happen to find a 2014 Jefferson nickel that's almost flawless, no scratches, no damage, and all the details are sharp, that's when you start getting into the territory of $1.2 million. You might be thinking, but how do I know if my coin is worth that much? Good question. It all comes down to grading now. Grading a coin is like grading homework. If you get a perfect score, your coin's value can skyrocket. The scale goes from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely flawless. A coin with a grade of 65 or higher is considered high quality, and that's where you start seeing prices go through the roof. You can send your coins to a professional grading service to get them evaluated, and if it's in excellent shape, you could be looking at a small fortune. I actually have a funny story about coins and grading. One time, I was going through my change and found a 1970s penny that looked kind of shiny. I thought, hey, maybe it's rare. I took it to a local coin dealer, and he practically burst out laughing. Apparently, it was a pretty standard penny, but the way I had it all shiny from years of pocket wear made it look vintage. He told me to hold on to it, but I learned that sometimes, what seems like a treasure is just a shiny memory. But hey, it still made me appreciate the value of coins more. So, to wrap it up, if you've got a 2014 mint marked Jefferson nickel lying around, it's definitely worth checking for any errors or signs of damage-free beauty. Even if it's not the $1 million version, who knows? You might find a coin that's worth way more than you expected. Coins like these are out there, and if you get lucky, you could end up with a true gem before you go. Here's the deal: if you love the idea of finding valuable coins and want to learn more about rare ones that could be hiding in your pockets, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll dive into more coins worth big money, share strategies for spotting them, and give you the insider tips you need to start your own coin collecting journey. So, hit that subscribe button, and let's make sure you don't miss out on your next fortune in change. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, the next nickel you find could be a $1.2 million treasure. Keep hunting, and I'll see you next time. So, you've got a bunch of these old nickels lying around your house, right? Maybe in a drawer, or shoved in a coin jar at the back of your closet. Well, guess what? One of those could be worth more than your latest paycheck. Yep, I'm talking about the 1981 mint mark Jefferson nickel, and it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. You heard me right, million. Now, I know what you're thinking. What kind of magic are you talking about, and how do I get my hands on it? Don't worry, I'll explain everything in just a sec. But first, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more crazy coin finds like this one. Alright, let's get into it. So, let's talk about this little nickel. It's not exactly ancient, it's from 1981, but it's still hiding a pretty serious secret. The coin in question is a Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, and it's the 1981 version with the mint mark on it. Now, before you run to your coin jar, I have to tell you, not all 1981 Jefferson nickels are worth a fortune. But there are some very rare, special ones out there that make collectors and investors go absolutely bananas. This bad boy? If you've got one in pristine condition, we're talking about a coin that looks like it just came off the minting press yesterday, you could be looking at a market value of about $1.3 million. Let that sink in for a second. A nickel. That's not a typo, and it's definitely not your average spare change. And this isn't some random theory, there's actually a record of these nickels being sold for insane amounts. So, if you find one, you could be laughing all the way to the bank. Just imagine going to buy a cup of coffee and telling the barista, "Yeah, I just paid for my latte with a nickel worth $1 million." Might just get you a free drink. Now, you're probably wondering, why on earth is a coin from 1981 worth so much money? It's all about rarity and condition. While the mint made millions of these nickels, a few have something special about them, whether it's a rare error, a unique die mark, or a super clean, perfect design. Think of it like a rookie card in baseball, the better condition it is, the more it's worth. But unlike baseball cards, these little nickels didn't get a fancy marketing campaign, so you have to know what you're looking for to find the diamonds in the rough. Most of the 1981 Jefferson nickels you'll come across are, well, not looking so hot. They've got scratches, discoloration, or just general wear and tear. But if you can get your hands on one that's graded a 66 or higher, that's when things start to get exciting. The higher the grade, the higher the price tag. So, for those of you out there with magnifying glasses, now might be the time to start examining your nickels. Let me take you back for a minute. A few years ago, I found a pile of old coins at a yard sale. You know the type, just a jar of mixed change for like $5. I picked it up thinking, hey, maybe I'll find some cool old pennies or dimes. But the real gold mine was in those Jefferson nickels. I had no idea at the time that the 1981 could be worth so much. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I'm Googling like crazy, researching which ones are rare, and bam, there it was, a listing for a perfect condition 1981 nickel going for over $1 million. My mind was blown. Now, I didn't find the $1 million coin, but I learned a pretty valuable lesson: always keep an eye out for those specific dates and mint marks. You'd be surprised at what could be hiding in those old coin jars. So, next time you stumble upon a stash of nickels, check for the mint mark on the 1981 coins. If it's in great shape, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. Alright, so there you have it, the 1981 Jefferson nickel, potentially worth $1.3 million if it's in perfect condition. If you find one, get it graded, and who knows, you could be the next big coin collector on the block. So, the moral of the story is, always check your change. Because sometimes, that random nickel you've got in your pocket might be the one that changes your life. But hey, even if you don't strike it rich, coins like these are a fun hobby. And the best part? They don't require a degree in economics or a treasure map to find. Just a bit of knowledge, a little patience, and a whole lot of luck. So if you want to keep learning about rare coins and how to find ones worth big money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got more tips, stories, and maybe even a few more $1 million finds coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. See you in the next video. We're diving into a truly exciting topic, the 1996p mint marked Jefferson nickel. Now, you might be thinking, a nickel? Worth how much? But trust me when I say, this nickel is no ordinary 5-cent coin. We're talking about a coin that's currently valued at an astonishing $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.4 million. Now, before you rush to your coin jar and start flipping through your old nickels, hold up. Because there's a bit more to the story. So, grab your snacks, sit back, and let's explore why this little piece of change might just be worth more than a new car, a vacation, or even a down payment on a house. Alright, first things first. If you've ever found a coin that made you think, wow, this could be worth something, then you're in the right place. But the 1996p Jefferson nickel didn't just show up overnight as $1 million treasure. It has a bit of a backstory, and it's all about its rarity, and a little mistake that happened during its production. The 1996p nickel is famous because of a unique error. You see, the mint produced this particular nickel with an unusual die flaw. This flaw caused the coin to have a double-struck image, which essentially means that the coin was struck twice, but slightly off-center during the process. This gives it a distinctive appearance that makes it stand out from all the other Jefferson nickels made in the same year. Now, I know what you're thinking, okay, so it's a little messed up. But is that really enough to make it worth $1 million? The answer is, yep, pretty much. You see, with this die error, the coin became a super rare find. In fact, it's estimated that only a handful of these coins exist in circulation today, which drives its value through the roof. But don't get too excited just yet, not every 1996p nickel is worth $1.4 million. So, how do you know if the one you have could be worth a fortune? Well, first, you need to make sure it's the right kind of error coin. It's all about that double strike. And let me tell you, if you do find one of these rare coins, it's not like they just show up in your pocket after a trip to the grocery store. No. You're likely to find this kind of coin through diligent searching, whether you're going through rolls of nickels, checking your change after buying coffee, or even hunting through your old coin collection. I can tell you, I've had a few, I think I've found a gold mine, moments. Like the time I thought I had found a rare 1964 penny. Long story short, it turned out to be a well-worn coin with a really bad case of oxidation. But that's the beauty of coin collecting, you never know when you might stumble upon something valuable. And sometimes, it's just about being in the right place at the right time. Or, in my case, being at a yard sale in my neighborhood. Speaking of that, I was once going through an old collection of coins I bought at a yard sale. I was sure I'd found something worth something, but after careful inspection, I realized it was just a bunch of coins with tarnish and no errors. Talk about disappointment. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? Sometimes, it's just as much about the adventure as the potential payday. Back to the 1996p nickel, though it's a reminder of how rare and unpredictable the world of coin collecting can be. You can go your whole life without finding a coin worth that much, but then bam, one day you find something that could change your financial future. But here's the thing, finding a coin like this isn't easy. It's all about knowledge, timing, and a bit of luck. And if you think this is the only coin worth millions, you're in for a treat because there are so many other coins hiding in plain sight. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on those. So, let's recap. The 1996p mint marked Jefferson nickel is worth a ton of money, $1.4 million, to be exact, because of a unique error that makes it stand out. The key takeaway here is that rarity is everything. You've got to keep your eyes peeled, know what to look for, and be patient. Whether you're hunting through rolls of coins, digging through your childhood piggy bank, or checking out old coin collections at yard sales, there's always a chance to find a rare treasure that could be worth a fortune. Now, before you run off to search through all your change, I've got one final nugget of advice for you. Don't forget to subscribe. Seriously, if you want more tips, tricks, and hidden gems about coins that could make you a millionaire, you've got to stay tuned. I'll be sharing more strategies on how to spot valuable coins, the stories behind them, and everything you need to know to get into the world of coin collecting. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and leave a comment below telling me what crazy coin you found. Maybe it's a 1996p nickel. Maybe it's something else. Either way, we'll all be here talking about coins worth money, and I can't wait to share more of these cool discoveries with you. Alright, fellow coin hunters, gather round because today we're diving into a nickel that's worth a small fortune, literally. I'm talking about the 1988 mint mark Jefferson nickel, which could have you cashing in big time with a value of $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. But how? Why? And how can you find one of these beauties? Stick around, because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn everything you need to know about this rare gem, and who knows, maybe you'll even find one in your coin jar at home. Yes, it's that possible. Now, let's talk about what makes this nickel so special. First things first, it's the 1988 mint mark Jefferson nickel, which was minted in Philadelphia. But before you start digging through every change jar you've got, there's something important you need to know. It's not just any 1988 nickel. No, this one has a rare error that boosts its value to mind-blowing levels. See this little guy? It's not just the usual 5 cents. There was a production hiccup back in 1988 that caused some of the coins to be struck incorrectly, resulting in a double die error. This means that part of the design was struck twice, which gives it a unique and unmistakable look. Now, you may think, who cares about a little flaw? But let me tell you, this is the kind of thing that makes collectors go wild. In fact, it's worth over $1.5 million in the right condition. So, what makes this particular nickel worth $1 million? Well, for starters, it's the rarity factor. Most coins are worth face value. After all, you can't exactly retire on a bunch of nickels, right? But with the 1988 mint mark Jefferson nickel, that error is what makes it stand out like a unicorn in a field of horses. Because there are so few of these error coins in circulation, and they were minted nearly 40 years ago, they become incredibly scarce. Think about it, the odds of finding one are about as good as stumbling upon a forgotten stash of rare trading cards in your grandmother's attic. And hey, if you've ever found a coin with an unusual mark or a scratch and thought, well, that's a bummer, now you know, sometimes those imperfections could actually be a goldmine. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, but how do I know if I've got one? Well, here's the fun part. Spotting these rare nickels isn't all that difficult, but you need to keep your eyes peeled. First, you'll want to look for that famous double die error. This typically shows up around the word Liberty or In God We Trust. The letters will have a kind of double impression. If you see it, stop everything, because you might have a collector's dream on your hands. Also, check for a clear, strong P mint mark on the reverse side, under the Monticello building. The P stands for Philadelphia, and that's the mint where this error happened. If you find one with the P mint mark, make sure to check for that double die error. If it's there, you've got something worth keeping. Okay, confession time. I've been hunting for rare coins for years, and let me tell you, it's not always as glamorous as it sounds. I remember once, I got super excited when I thought I found a rare 1943 copper penny. Yes, I thought I struck gold. But nope, it turned out to be just a regular old penny that looked like it had seen a few too many pockets. I was so disappointed, but hey, it's all part of the hunt, right? The thing is, sometimes we get lucky, and sometimes we don't. But that's why coin hunting is so exciting. And hey, maybe your next find could be worth millions, like this 1988 Jefferson nickel. Alright, coin collectors, we've covered all the bases when it comes to the 1988 mint mark Jefferson nickel, and I hope you're as excited as I am to start looking through your change for a potential $1 million coin. Remember, spotting these rare errors is what makes collecting so fun, and with a little luck and some sharp eyes, you could be the next one cashing in on a rare find. Before you go, don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss a coin tip again. We're always talking about valuable coins, tips on where to find them, and how to make some serious cash with your collections. So, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and who knows, maybe next time, I'll be sharing your coin hunting success story. Happy hunting, and good luck! Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a nickel worth millions of dollars? Is that for real? Well, I promise you, today we're talking about the 2010 mint mark Jefferson nickel, and yes, this little coin could be worth a whopping $1.60 million. That's right, I said million. And no, I didn't just get hit in the head with a roll of nickels. Stick around, because we're diving deep into how this humble nickel turned into a gold mine, well, silver mine, technically, and how you can spot one that's hiding in your pocket right now. You might just have a future treasure on your hands, but first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you're ready to discover what other coins could make you a millionaire. Alright, let's get into it, okay, so here's the scoop. The 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is one of those coins that slipped under the radar for a while, but it's making waves in the coin world right now. Most of us think of a nickel as something that'll buy us a stale piece of gum or maybe get us a few arcade tokens. But sometimes, just sometimes, a nickel can be more than that, way more. What makes this particular 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickel so special is something called a die variety, fancy term, right? In layman's terms, it means that the coin has a flaw or unique feature in the way it was stamped at the mint, making it incredibly rare and valuable. And now, you're probably thinking, how could I ever know if I have one of these? Well, it's all about the details. You'll want to look at the edges of the coin, the design, and especially any potential minting errors like doubling or a misalignment that make it stand out from the rest. A coin that isn't quite like the others? That's the one you want to grab, but here's the fun part. Let's talk about how I stumbled upon this exact coin myself. Now, before you think I'm some kind of coin genius, let me tell you, I used to be totally clueless. There I was, going through a random jar of loose change, just pulling out the same old quarters, dimes, and nickels. I even tossed a few into the vending machine for some overpriced snacks. But one day, something caught my eye. I pulled out a 2010 D-Mint Mark nickel, and I was about to toss it back into the jar, but I didn't. Something told me to hold on to it. If flash forward a few months, and I'm watching a coin collector on YouTube talking about rare Jefferson nickels, and boom, he mentions the 2010 D-Mint Mark. My heart starts racing. I pull out my nickel, start inspecting it, and I see the slight variations in the design. After a few quick online searches, I was hit with the real value. Let's just say, that jar of nickels went from being a snack fund to my retirement fund. Just kidding, but it was a pretty good day. So, what makes this 2010 D-Mint Mark so rare? Well, there's a specific version of the coin that has a unique feature, a subtle, yet significant, error in the minting process. These coins are typically found in high grades, meaning they're in excellent condition. A coin in mint state could fetch $1.6 million at auction, which is enough to make anyone check their change jar a little more carefully. Here's the kicker, not all 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickels are worth a fortune. It's the coins that have that elusive, rare error that truly stand out. And as we know, finding a coin like this isn't like finding a penny on the sidewalk. It takes some serious luck, or in my case, a little bit of curiosity, but don't get discouraged. Even if you don't find the jackpot, there's still hope for your other coins. There are hundreds of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters out there with potential value. You might not hit the $1.6 million, but who knows? Maybe your change jar is secretly filled with gold, well, metaphorically, at least. Alright, folks, the 2010 D-Mint Mark Jefferson nickel is a perfect example of how you can turn a simple coin into a small fortune with a little knowledge and a lot of luck. And you know what? If I can find one, so can you. Keep an eye out for those minting errors, the subtle details, and who knows? Maybe that next handful of change will turn into something much more. But hey, if you want to stay ahead of the game and keep learning about which coins are worth big bucks, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more tips, tricks, and strategies to spot valuable coins. Because who doesn't love finding treasure, right? Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found a coin in your pocket and wondered, could this be worth a fortune? Well, if you've got a 1996 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, you might just have a little treasure on your hands, and by little, I mean a whopping $1.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me, because today, we're diving deep into why this humble nickel is worth so much and how you might just stumble across one of these hidden gems. So grab a snack, kick back, and let's dive into this crazy coin story. Alright, so you might be thinking, a nickel? Worth $1.7 million? That sounds like a prank. Trust me, I thought the same when I first heard about it. But here's the deal, the 1996 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel isn't your average pocket change. Now, before you go rummaging through your change jar hoping to strike gold, let's break down why this particular nickel is worth so much. The first thing to understand is rarity. See, the 1996 Jefferson nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Normally, nickels come and go like, well, nickels. But this specific batch? Let's just say they didn't quite make it into the hands of every collector. The reason why this coin is so valuable is due to an incredibly rare error. It's not about the design or how shiny it is, spoiler alert, it's not that shiny. It's all about how it was struck. Some of these nickels were minted with an unusual die that gives them a slightly off-center appearance, and these error coins are the ones that collectors go crazy for. You know how you're walking down the street, and you spot a penny on the ground? You probably pick it up, or you don't lie. But what if that penny was a rare 1943 copper penny? That's the kind of situation we're talking about here, a coin that shouldn't exist, and when it does, it's worth more than a latte and a donut combined. Same idea with this nickel, except the dollar signs attached are a lot bigger. And now, here's a fun twist, this coin has a pretty hilarious backstory. So, I was out one day running errands, and I noticed a few old coins mixed in with my spare change. Now, I didn't exactly expect to find anything rare, come on, we've all dug through our change and found nothing exciting, right? But one coin caught my eye, it was a 1996 Jefferson nickel, just chilling there. My heart started racing a little. I mean, I'd seen a couple of YouTube videos about rare nickels, so I quickly checked it out. Of course, it wasn't the $1.7 million version, sadly, but the experience of finding a coin that might be valuable was unforgettable. It was like finding the ultimate what-if moment. It's funny because, in a way, finding a rare coin is like being on a treasure hunt, you never know when or where you'll find your next big score. But that doesn't mean we should all go through our wallets frantically searching for this 1996 nickel. It's about understanding the value of these coins when they do show up. So, what makes this coin even more interesting? It's the way these error coins get into the market. Sometimes, a collector or coin dealer will get their hands on one, not realizing its true value, and sell it at a regular price. That's when the savvy buyers swoop in like detectives on a case, scooping up these treasures for pennies on the dollar. And bam, just like that, you've got a nickel worth a fortune. It's also worth noting that not all 1996 Jefferson nickels are valuable. It's only those with the specific die errors that fetch such a high price. That's where you'll need to break out your magnifying glass and carefully inspect your nickels. If it looks off-center or has some unusual markings, you might want to send it off to a professional for authentication. But hey, I know, not everyone's got a magnifying glass lying around, right? If you're into this coin hunt thing, maybe it's time to invest in one. Now, let's talk about how you can get your hands on a coin like this. Finding a 1996 nickel in your change isn't impossible, it's just rare. You've got a better chance of finding a unicorn riding a skateboard. But if you're serious about this stuff, or maybe just curious, you can start hunting online or checking out coin shops. I know it sounds a little crazy, but the world of rare coins is wild, and sometimes, it's all about patience, persistence, and a little bit of luck. You might even find one at a yard sale. I've heard some wild stories of people stumbling upon rare coins at garage sales, but that's a whole other video in itself. So, what have we learned today, folks? Well, we've learned that the 1996 Jefferson nickel might just be worth $1.7 million, and that might be enough to make you take a second look at every nickel you own. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about digging through your loose change, it's about knowing what to look for and how to spot a potential gold mine. But hey, let's be real, even if you don't find $1 million nickel, the journey is half the fun. It's like hunting for treasure, but instead of a map, you've got a magnifying glass and a smartphone. And who knows? Maybe the next rare coin you find will make your wallet a little fatter. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on valuable coins, strategies for building your collection, and a whole lot of fun along the way. If you've ever found a coin worth more than you thought, drop a comment below and share your story. I love hearing your treasure hunting experiences. Alright, let me ask you a quick question. What do you think your spare change is worth? Maybe a few cents here, a couple of dimes there, right? But hold on to your hat, because I'm about to introduce you to a coin that could have you sitting on a small fortune. If you've got a 2000p mint-marked Jefferson nickel in your pocket right now, I'm not saying it's going to buy you a yacht, but it could definitely make you think about a beachside vacation. Stick around, and let's talk about why this nickel could be worth, wait for it, a whopping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Let's dive in. So, what's the big deal with this little coin? You're probably thinking, a nickel? Worth that much? Is this a typo? Trust me, I wish it was. This coin is rare, and I mean really rare. Now, you might have seen a regular 2000p nickel, the one that's pretty common. You know, the kind you toss into your change jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that a certain version of this coin, one with just the right kind of error, has sold for $1.8 million at auction? Sounds crazy, right? Let me explain. See, most of these 2000p Jefferson nickels are, well, just your average everyday nickels. But in 2000, the US Mint released a batch that had a minor, but super important, mistake. The mistake was in the die, essentially, how the coin was stamped. Instead of the typical design, a small portion of the mint mark and lettering didn't line up properly. This subtle error turned an ordinary nickel into a rare collectible. Now, it's not like you're going to find this error on every 2000p nickel out there. Nope. It's a rare gem, one that collectors will pay top dollar for. Imagine finding one of these while you're sifting through your pocket change. That's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle is worth a fortune. But hold on a second, before you go raiding your change jar, here's the thing: you need to be really sure you've got the right coin. The error is pretty subtle, so it's not something you can just spot from across the room. You've got to look closely, maybe even with a magnifying glass. And if you find one? Congrats! You might just be holding onto your ticket to a small fortune. Let's break it down. The coin has to be in mint condition, and the error has to be clear. This means the coin needs to be as close to perfect as possible, no scratches, dents, or discoloration. The closer to perfect it is, the more valuable it becomes. Now, don't get too excited, just because you find one doesn't automatically mean you're going to make millions. There's still a lot of research and, let's face it, a bit of luck involved. Cut to a humorous shot of a person checking their coin collection in a rush, holding up a magnifying glass to their eye with exaggerated intensity. Remember, finding a $1.8 million nickel isn't as easy as just flipping over every coin you find. I wish it were that simple. If it were, I'd probably be making this video from a private jet right now, but we gotta work for it. So, now that you know all about the 2000p Jefferson nickel, you're probably wondering, how do I get my hands on one of these bad boys? Well, keep your eyes peeled, and always be on the lookout for that rare error. Don't just toss the change aside, take a moment to inspect your coins. You never know, you could be holding a hidden gem. And hey, if you're into coins or just love the thrill of a good treasure hunt, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and strategies coming your way to help you find coins worth real money. Who knows? You could be the next person to stumble upon a $1.8 million nickel, and if you do, remember who told you about it. The host gives a wink, and the screen displays a subscribe button with text. Hit subscribe for more coin tips and tricks. Hey there, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, about to toss a nickel into the tip jar, when boom, you realize it could be worth over $1 million. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, stick around because today, we're diving into the story of the 1973 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel, a little coin that packs a huge punch. And yes, you heard me right, $1.1 million could be sitting in your couch cushions right now, but before you go flipping over every nickel you own, let me tell you what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and why it's worth so much. Plus, I'll share a funny little story about the time I almost missed out on a rare coin myself. Let's get into it. So, what's the deal with the 1973 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel? First, let's break it down. Most coins are minted with a little letter, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark at all if it's from Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark on the 1973 Jefferson nickel is normal for coins struck in Philadelphia, but here's the twist: not all no-mint mark nickels are created equal. A rare batch of these nickels had something special going on: perfectly struck details, flawless surfaces, and a shiny finish that makes them stand out like a diamond in a sea of pebbles. These rare gems are classified as proof-like strikes. And because they were so well preserved, collectors go absolutely wild for them. And now, here's where the $1 million price tag comes in. A pristine, almost untouched 1973 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel was sold at auction for, brace yourself, $1.1 million. That's right, someone out there turned a nickel into a literal fortune. The secret lies in its condition, rarity, and the fierce competition among collectors. But how can you tell if your 1973 nickel is worth a fortune? First, grab a magnifying glass or a loupe and check for these key features: sharp, clear details on Jefferson's face. No smudges or weak strikes. A mirror-like shine, almost as if it's glowing under the light. No scratches, dents, or signs of wear. If your nickel checks all these boxes, you might just be holding a treasure. And even if it's not worth $1 million, a high-grade 1973 no-mint mark nickel can still fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. Not bad for a coin you found in your junk drawer, right? Okay, quick story time. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. You know, one of those just toss everything in a box kind of situations. Anyway, I stumbled across this old coin jar filled with nickels, pennies, and who knows what else. I almost ignored it because, let's be honest, who expects to find anything exciting in an old jar? But then I remembered something my dad used to say: always check your change. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. So, I took the jar home and started sorting through it. And guess what? I found a rare penny that ended up selling for a few $100. No $1 million jackpot, but hey, it was enough for a new TV. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of small things. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 1973 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel that turned heads and made headlines. Who knew a humble little nickel could be worth so much? If this story has you itching to check your change, I say go for it. You never know, your next trip to the grocery store might just fund your dream vacation. Before you go, here's my challenge for you: start checking your coins today. And if you find anything cool, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Oh, and one last thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories about valuable coins coming your way. Let's turn your pocket change into a goldmine, one coin at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this: you're digging through your loose change to grab some quarters for the vending machine when, bam, you stumble upon a nickel that's not just worth 5 cents but $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1961 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel could change your life overnight. Crazy, right? Well, in today's video, we're diving into the fascinating story behind this coin, why it's so valuable, and how you can check your own stash to see if you've hit the jackpot. Oh, and stick around, because I'm also going to share a hilarious story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin myself. Spoiler alert, I'm still crying about it. Let's get into it. The 1961 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. While most nickels from this year are worth just their face value, a select few have unique qualities that make them insanely valuable to collectors. One of the main reasons? Errors in die varieties. Some of these nickels were struck with misaligned dies or doubled features, giving them a distinct, rare look. Think of it like finding a typo in the Declaration of Independence: quirky, valuable, and a bit of a flex if you own it. Another factor is condition. If your nickel looks like it just rolled off the press, no scratches, perfect shine, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Professional coin graders use something called the Sheldon scale to rate coins from 1 to 70. If your 1961 nickel scores a near-perfect 68 or 69, cha-ching. You're looking at serious money. Okay, story time. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. Classic Sunday chore, right? We found this old jar filled with coins, and I was like, cool, free gas money. But as I started sorting through them, I noticed this odd-looking nickel. It was shiny but had some unique quirks, like faint doubling on the text. Being the genius I am, I tossed it into the jar without a second thought. Fast forward to months later, I'm watching a documentary on rare coins, and they show a 1961 nickel that looked suspiciously like the one I'd seen. Heart racing, I ran to grab the jar only to find out my sister had used it to buy snacks at a gas station. Lesson learned: always double check your coins before spending them on chips. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for: how to check if your 1961 nickel is the real deal. First, look for a no mint mark. If there's no tiny letter under Monticello, that's the building on the back of the coin, you've cleared the first hurdle. Next, check the condition. Is it shiny and new looking? Or does it look like it went through the washing machine a few times? The closer it is to mint condition, the better. If finally, grab a magnifying glass and inspect for any oddities, doubling, die cracks, or anything that looks out of place. If you think you've got something special, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC.so. Why would someone pay $1.2 million for a nickel? Two words: rarity and demand. There are only a handful of these coins in pristine condition, and collectors love unique items that tell a story. It's like owning a piece of history, except this one can fund your dream vacation. Alright, folks, there you have it, the wild, wonderful world of the 1961 no-mint marked Jefferson nickel. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, this coin proves that everyday objects can hold extraordinary value. So, what are you waiting for? Check your piggy banks, raid your couch cushions, and dig through that jar of old coins in the garage. Who knows? You might be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. If you found this video helpful or at least mildly entertaining, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'll be back with more tips on coins, collectibles, and all the hidden treasures you might already own. Hey, treasure hunters! Imagine this: you're digging through your spare change, maybe even that forgotten jar in the kitchen, and bam! You come across a nickel worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a plain old nickel could turn you into a millionaire overnight. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1984 mint marked Jefferson nickel. This little guy might just be hiding in your pocket right now, and if it is, well, let's just say dinner's on you tonight. Cut to host holding a pile of coins. But before you start flipping your couch cushions, let me tell you exactly what makes this coin so special, how to spot it, and why it's worth more than my first car. Let's get rolling. Alright, so what's the deal with the 1984 mint marked Jefferson nickel? First, let's break it down. These nickels were minted in Philadelphia, which is what the P stands for. Back then, no one thought twice about them, they were just another nickel. But today, this coin is the king of nickels, and here's why. The $1 million 1984 Jefferson nickel is so valuable because of a rare minting error. You see, during production, the dies used to stamp the coins sometimes get worn out or damaged. That's what happened here. This specific nickel has a unique doubling effect on the lettering, especially on the word Monticello and 5 cents. It's called a double die error, and collectors go absolutely nuts for these rare mistakes. I mean, let's be real, if I made a mistake at work, I'd probably just get an awkward meeting with HR. But when the US Mint makes a mistake? Boom, instant millionaire. Go figure. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Dave, was cleaning out his car one day, the usual old receipts, melted candy, and loose change. He found a nickel that looked kinda off. Turns out, it was a 1984 nickel with the exact error we're talking about. Long story short, Dave sent it to a coin grading service, and a few weeks later, he had an offer for $500,000. He didn't even know what he had until he Googled it. Moral of the story? Always check your change, folks. Here's the kicker: a high-grade 1984 double die nickel sold at auction for $1.3 million. That's enough to buy a house, a fancy car, and still have some leftover for a lifetime supply of pizza. Alright, so how can you find one of these magical nickels? Step 1. Grab a magnifying glass. Step 2. Check your nickels from 1984 for that doubling effect on the text. Step 3. If you think you've got one, send it to a professional grading service to confirm its authenticity. Trust me, it's worth it. Pro tip: don't try to explain this to your kids. I told my nephew I was looking for $1 million nickel, and now he thinks I'm some kind of pirate. Matey. So there you have it, the 1984 mint marked Jefferson nickel, the little coin that could change your life. It's proof that even the smallest things can hold incredible value. Who knew your loose change could be worth more than a mansion? If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could make you rich, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and stories coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. And hey, if you find a 1984 nickel, let me know in the comments, I might just be your biggest fan. Have you ever had a nickel in your pocket and thought, this little guy isn't worth much? Well, what if I told you that one special nickel might just make you a millionaire? Yes, you heard me right, a nickel could change your life. Today, we're talking about the legendary 1981p mint mark Jefferson nickel, a coin that's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. So, grab your spare change, because after this video, you're going to be digging through your couch cushions like never before. Alright, let's break this down. The 1981p mint mark Jefferson nickel isn't just any old nickel. Oh no! This coin is like the Beyoncé of the coin world, rare, valuable, and absolutely iconic. So, why is this nickel worth more than a Ferrari? Let's dive into the details. First, let's talk about rarity. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of nickels, but only a select few came out. How should I put this? Perfectly imperfect. These rare nickels have a unique flaw in their design, maybe a slight double die, a misstrike, or a unique planchet error. And collectors go wild for these mistakes. Imagine finding out your most embarrassing moment could make you famous. That's basically this coin, but rarity isn't the only thing driving the price up. Condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and the closer you get to that perfect 70, the more valuable your coin is. The 1981p nickel worth $1.4 million? It's in mint condition, which means it looks like it was minted yesterday. No scratches, nowhere, just pure nickel glory. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandpa's garage, because let's face it, garages are where all the good treasure is hidden. I stumbled across an old coffee can full of coins. At first, I thought, it's just pocket change. But then, I remembered reading about valuable coins and decided to take a closer look. No $1 million nickels in there, trust me, I checked, but I did find a penny that was worth $20. Moral of the story? Always check your spare change. You never know what you'll find. Alright, so what should you be looking for? Grab any 1981 nickel you can find and check for that little P mint mark on the right side of Thomas Jefferson's portrait. Next, examine it under good lighting. Look for any signs of a unique design error or an unusually pristine condition. If you think you've got something special, take it to a coin dealer or send it off to be graded. Worst case scenario? You'll learn something cool about coins. Best case scenario? You're a millionaire. Okay, let's recap. The 1981p mint mark Jefferson nickel is a rare gem in the coin world, and it's worth up to $1.4 million if you have one in mint condition. So, before you spend that nickel on gum or toss it in a tip jar, give it a second look. You might just be holding your ticket to financial freedom. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be sharing more tips and strategies to help you find valuable coins hiding in plain sight. And hey, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're inspired to start checking your change. Who knows? You could be the star of my next video. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're rummaging through your spare change at the drive-thru, about to buy a burger, and bam. You find a nickel that could change your life. Sounds too good to be true? Well, stick around because today we're talking about the 2016 mint mark Jefferson nickel, a tiny coin with a not-so-tiny value of $1.50 million. Now, before you start emptying your piggy bank or shaking down your couch cushions, let's dive into what makes this nickel so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to dish out a cool $1.5 million for it. Oh, and I've got a funny little story about a coin mishap that'll make you double-check your change every single time, alright? Let's talk about the star of the show, the 2016 mint mark Jefferson nickel. For those who don't know, the D stands for the Denver Mint, where this coin was struck. Now, here's the kicker, most 2016 nickels are just your everyday, run-of-the-mill coins worth, well, 5 cents. But there's a rare error version that has collectors losing their minds. So, this isn't just any nickel, it's a nickel with a twist. Literally. Some of these coins were accidentally struck with a misaligned die, which gave them a unique design anomaly. Think of it as a factory defect, but for coins. This little oops makes it one of the rarest Jefferson nickels in existence. Here's the fun part, these error nickels often slip into circulation unnoticed. Yep, They could be sitting in your pocket, quietly waiting to turn your Starbucks run into a life-changing payday. To spot the $1.5 million jackpot, you'll need a keen eye and maybe a magnifying glass, or a strong pair of glasses like me when I lose my contacts. Look for a misaligned strike where the design is slightly off. Center. An unusual texture or doubling in the lettering or design. Any other oddities, like cracks or extra lines, that scream I'm not like the other nickels. And don't forget to check for that D mint mark, located just below Monticello on the coin's reverse side. Without it, you're looking at a standard nickel, not the $1 million marvel. Let me tell you about the time I almost threw away a rare coin. True story, I was helping a friend clean out their junk drawer, that black hole of random batteries, old receipts, and yes, coins. I found what looked like a regular nickel, but something about it caught my eye. I set it aside, planning to look it up later. Fast forward 2 weeks, and I accidentally used it to pay for gum at a gas station. The kicker? It wasn't worth $1.5 million, but it was a rare error coin worth a few $100. Moral of the story? Never underestimate your loose change. The coin market is driven by collectors with deep pockets and a passion for rarity. The 2006 D Mint Mark nickel ticks all the boxes. It's unique, it's a mistake, in the best way, and it's in ridiculously high demand. When one of these rare beauties hit the auction block a few years ago, the bidding went wild, landing at a jaw-dropping $1.50 million. So, the next time you're digging through your change to pay for coffee or snacks, take a closer look at those nickels. Who knows? That little 5-cent coin could be worth more than your house, but here's the deal, finding these rare coins takes patience, a sharp eye, and maybe a little bit of luck. If you love this kind of treasure hunting, why not stick around? Hit that subscribe button and join our coin-loving crew. I'll keep bringing you tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover hidden gems in your pocket change. And hey, if you've got an interesting coin story or think you've found a 2006 D Mint Mark nickel worth $1.5 million, drop it in the comments below. Who knows? You might inspire someone else to start their treasure hunt. Have you ever wondered if that pocket change jingling in your car's cup holder could be worth a small fortune? What if I told you there's a nickel out there that's worth $1.60 million? Yes, you heard that right, a nickel. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1985 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, why it's so valuable, and how you might just have one hiding in plain sight. So, buckle up, because this is a wild ride through the world of coin collecting, and maybe, just maybe, your ticket to riches. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1985 P Mint Mark Jefferson nickel was minted in Philadelphia, hence the P Mint mark. Now, this coin is not just your run-of-the-mill nickel, it's a coin collector's dream. Why? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and one very specific minting error. Here's the deal, in 1985, a small batch of these nickels was struck using a misaligned die. That means the design is slightly off-center, and the details of Jefferson's profile and Monticello on the back are sharper than usual. Think of it like the coin equivalent of a unicorn. It's unique, magical, and worth a whole lot of money. Now, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I found myself with a jar of old coins after cleaning out my grandma's attic. Among them was a pile of nickels that I almost tossed into a Coinstar machine. But something told me to look closer. Spoiler alert, none of them were $1-million coins, but I did find one worth $50. That was the day I learned that coin collecting is like playing the lottery, but with much better odds. Back to our 1985 nickel. What makes it worth $1.6 million isn't just the error. Condition is everything. These coins are graded on a scale called the Sheldon scale, where 1 is basically ran over by a lawnmower and 70 is minted yesterday and never touched. The $1 million nickels are graded MS67 or higher, meaning they look like they just rolled off the minting press. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these golden air nickel tickets? First, grab a magnifying glass or a loupe and check the date and mint mark. Next, look for any oddities in the design, like uneven spacing or extra sharp details. If it looks promising, don't rely on your cousin Dave's opinion, take it to a professional coin grader. Speaking of coin graders, let me tell you about Larry. Larry is a buddy of mine who swore he had a rare coin. He spent hours Googling, convinced it was worth thousands, only to find out it was worth 35 cents. Moral of the story? Get an expert opinion before quitting your day job. Let's talk market value. As of today, the highest graded 1985p nickel fetched $1.6 million at auction. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or like 32,000 Little Caesars pizzas. But even if yours isn't in pristine condition, lower grades can still sell for hundreds or even thousands. And hey, that's not bad for a 5-cent investment, right? So, where do you sell these coins? Online platforms like eBay or heritage auctions are popular, but always be cautious. Scammers are out there, and they'll happily pay you $1 for your $1 million coin if you're not careful. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you've got a jar of nickels sitting around, it might be time to dig through it. Who knows? You could be holding onto a fortune without even realizing it. But even if you don't strike it rich, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun, and it might just make you appreciate your pocket change a little more. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more tips on spotting coins worth big bucks. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're heading straight to your couch cushions after watching this. Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're digging through your pocket change, maybe you just bought a coffee or paid for parking, and you find a nickel. A plain old 1980p Jefferson nickel. But wait. What if I told you that very coin could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard me, million, with an M. Sounds crazy, right? Stick around, because today we're diving into how a simple nickel from 1980 could change your life. And trust me, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. So, let's talk about the 1980p Jefferson nickel. First, what's the deal with that little P mint mark? It means this nickel was minted in Philadelphia. But here's the kicker, not every 1980p nickel is worth a fortune. In fact, most of them are worth, well, 5 cents. But there's a specific type of this coin, a rare error or unique variety, that collectors are losing their minds over. And that's where the big bucks come in. Here's what you need to look for. These rare nickels often have what's called a die clash error or a double die feature. In plain English, the mint messed up during production. These errors create unique markings or designs that shouldn't be there, and collectors love them. It's like a factory defect on a designer bag, it makes it rare and insanely valuable. Okay, true story time. Last year, I found a jar of old coins in my grandma's attic. I was excited, thinking I'd strike it rich. Turns out, most were just regular coins, except one that caught my eye. It was a 1980p Jefferson nickel with a weird double image on the letters. My heart raced faster than a kid opening a mystery box. Sadly, after some research, I realized it wasn't the $1 million nickel. But hey, that experience got me hooked on coin collecting. Now, let's talk numbers. Why is this coin worth $1.7 million? It's all about rarity and condition. If a 1980p Jefferson nickel with a rare error is graded at a high level, say, mint state 67 or higher, it's like the Rolls-Royce of nickels. Collectors will pay top dollar for that level of perfection. And when I say top dollar, I mean 7 figures. Crazy, right? But here's the catch, finding one of these rare coins is like winning the lottery. It's not impossible, but it takes patience, luck, and a good eye. So, if you're serious about searching for treasure in your spare change, grab a magnifying glass and start inspecting every coin that comes your way. Who needs Netflix when you can binge-watch your own coin collection? It's cheap, fun, and who knows, you might find a $1.7 million jackpot waiting for you. Alright, folks, let's recap. The 1980p Jefferson nickel might seem like just another coin, but under the right circumstances, it's a millionaire's dream. So next time you're emptying your pockets, give those nickels a second glance. Who knows? You might be holding onto a hidden fortune. If you enjoyed this little adventure into the world of valuable coins, don't keep all the fun to yourself. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of coin enthusiasts. I'll be sharing more tips, stories, and strategies to help you turn your spare change into serious cash. And hey, if you've got a lucky coin story of your own, drop it in the comments, I'd love to hear it. Hey there, treasure hunters. Have you ever rummaged through your pocket change and thought, man, this stuff is just loose coffee money? Well, think again. What if I told you that one tiny, unassuming nickel could be worth a whopping $1.8 million? Yeah, you heard that right, a single coin. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1998 Jefferson nickel. Why is it worth so much? How can you tell if you have one? And most importantly, could you be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it? Stick around because you do not want to miss this. Let's start with the basics. The 1998 Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. On the surface, it looks like any other nickel. But what sets this little guy apart is its rare mint error. These errors can happen when the dies used to strike the coins are misaligned, doubled, or just plain worn out. In the case of this particular nickel, it's believed that a rare planchet or blank coin was mistakenly used, creating a truly one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Now, I know what you're thinking, how on earth am I supposed to spot this? Great question. Look closely at the coin's details. Check the lettering for doubling, that's where the letters or numbers look like they've been stamped twice. Inspect Jefferson's portrait for any unusual marks or distortions. And, of course, the D mint mark should be crisp and clear. If anything looks out of the ordinary, you might just have hit the jackpot. Let me share a quick story. A few years ago, my friend Sarah, who couldn't care less about coins, called me freaking out. She found an old nickel in a jar her grandmother had tucked away in a closet. "Is this thing worth anything, or can I finally buy that coffee I've been craving?" she asked. Long story short, that coffee had to wait because her nickel turned out to be a rare collectible. While it wasn't the 1998 D, it sold at auction for $20,000. Not bad for a little pocket change. Now, back to our $1.8 million nickel. The reason this coin is so valuable isn't just the error, it's also the condition. In the coin world, condition is everything. Collectors are willing to shell out big bucks for coins that are nearly flawless. This is called mint state condition, and if your 1998 D nickel is in mint state, you've just entered the Millionaires Club. And here's the kicker, even if your 1998 D nickel isn't in perfect shape, it could still be worth thousands. So, before you toss that old jar of coins into a Coinstar machine, take a closer look. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you've made it this far, you're officially a coin enthusiast, or at least curious enough to check your loose change. The 1998 D Jefferson nickel is proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. So, what are you waiting for? Grab that jar of coins, start sorting, and who knows? You might just find yourself holding $1 million miracle. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm here to help you uncover hidden treasures, learn the secrets of coin collecting, and maybe even change your financial future, all from the comfort of your couch.